So on today's episode, we're talking outdoor decking systems here at ALTA or Aussie Modern. Let's get to it. So outdoor decking systems here in the desert in Arizona are kind of tough to be able to determine what's going to last and what's the appropriate application for various products that you can find in the marketplace. And in this case, we have about a 700 square foot outdoor terrace that overlooks some of the mountain range and the Phoenix preserves that exist here in the Arcadia market in Phoenix. And we went back and forth on how to be able to make these spaces functional for our future homeowner. And ultimately, with these outdoor uncovered terraces, you have a lot of water that's going to reside and shed off of the roof. And while we knew this would be a wow factor and something that really helped this house stand apart, we had three major concerns when it came to decking. The first would be durability. We live in the desert, it's hot, and it gets cold in wintertime. The second would be drainage. How are we going to make sure that our roofing system and our terrace is going to drain the water appropriately? And then our third is going to be aesthetics. What does that actually look like when it comes to the finished product? So the first item we talked about was durability. So here in Arizona, we knew that we had a few options when it came to durability. The first was going to be the most common, where we would have a closed sale spray application that has like a granular that helps with slip resistance and is one of the more standard or common practices here in Arizona. So ultimately we opted for a TPO system because the sprayed application was going to create a lot of valleys and crickets that are associated to be able to get our water to be able to drain appropriately off of this outdoor terrace. However, there were some things that didn't quite sit right with us with doing a spray deck application. One of the biggest items was going to be the functionality and the aesthetics that are associated with our decking and terrace space. If we did a spray deck application, we would find ourselves having to deal with crickets and valleys that would allow us to be able to get drainage to the appropriate locations for our roof drains and scupper solution that was integrated into this home. And ultimately this would have created a lot of unevenness with the space and over time would have worn and had to be reapplied in the future. This is why we opted for a TPO solution with a floating deck, because it allowed us to be able to have the waterproofing in place that we needed, still have our crickets and valleys in place to be able to get our drainage of this 700 square foot space that has a gabled roof with water draining into this, especially during monsoon seasons when we have a fair amount of water coming in a short period of time. And it allowed us to be able to aesthetically put this product, which is actually a floating pedestal system that's used in a commercial application, that allows the water to be able to easily pass through into our drainage system, which is the TPO decking, and allow for a level and flat surface and live your best life indoors and outdoors by being able to associate and take advantage of the full space with your furniture configuration that we have just to the north of me, and then our dining room setup that we have just to the south of me. In this case, the choice was clear that to be able to optimize this space, we would go with the TPO, our pedestal deck system, which was a relatively easy system to install. And yes, it did have a cost associated with it, but we think the aesthetics of this space are far outweigh the cost and the ROI that would have been associated if we would have gone our standard spray decking system that we've utilized in other applications in previous builds. If you have more interest in this application, follow us for a future episode where we'll be covering this system in full depth to be able to show the functionality, the ease of installation, and discuss some of the costs associated with putting this together for either a custom home that you're currently working on or for a custom home of your dreams that you plan on building in the near future. As always, click that subscribe button below if you enjoyed this content, and have a great day.